Organizations don't always go left to right, top to bottom. It's not a linear process. We find customers with needs in a variety of places. Sometimes they really are at the beginning stages and they think that cloud opportunities make a lot of sense, but they're not quite sure how to look at the TCO of it. They've done a couple of things in the cloud, or maybe they'll say Office 365, but in terms of a meaningful way, they're still struggling with a strategy. So the first scenario is built around helping an organization like the CIO you see here. Is this individual was brought in by the board and they said, we've made a strategic decision to move to the cloud, specifically Azure, because we got a good relationship with Microsoft and we hired you to make it happen. So where are you? We help that CIO put together a strategy very quickly. Sometimes we find people that have a strategy, but they're finding that they're just not getting it done. They find that maybe they've moved some VMs or an application or two, but they're still populating lots of data centers that are expensive. They may have leases that are coming due. They've got old technology that they know they're going to have to up level and go through that pain. Or they've just got a contract with an outsourcer that's just gotten really expensive and they need to move and they need to move quickly. And that's what we call the accelerated lift and shift scenario. Or they've gotten to cloud through a lift and shift IaaS approach, but they know that it is a little expensive and not efficient, and they're not taking advantage of the agility and the elasticity of a cloud environment. And they may have lots of peaks in their business, but they've not really configured their IaaS environment to be able to respond adequately to those peaks, or perhaps they've got some new applications they want to bring to market. So they want to optimize. And that's a scenario that we see a lot of. And then the final one is the owner of the subscription was the administrator of a large subscription. And at one point, his corporate environment was paying for it. Then they decided that they would do some pushing the cost down to the individual business units, and he got his first Azure bill. And what we think that the Azure value proposition, as you'll see, is a terrific value proposition. But like all things, if it's sized the way you would size an on-prem data center, you can find you're going to get some pretty interesting bills. Reducing cost is a fourth area. We think these four scenarios are great opportunities, market opportunities in general, and a good way to utilize and position the use of our tools. So let me just take you through some of these. The value proposition in the first one, as I said, is an organization is just getting started. Perhaps they have an IT data collection tool like MAP or Mover or Landsweep or some other tool, and they need to get something better than a 50% confidence level that the cloud is a good value proposition. And you see here we talk about Cloud Recon and Cloud Pilot as a way to help with this strategy development. What we have found is that as the detail goes up and the customer's ability to own the analysis, sitting on the same side of the table as their consultant, their likelihood to move to the next phase goes up significantly. When it's very high level, general sizing, we wouldn't call it right sizing, but no consolidation, no detailed analysis around SLA, service level agreements, or hybrid use benefits, or any of the licensing nuances that Microsoft has. The customer is kind of left with the feeling that, I don't know that this is really right for us. What we're doing with Cloud Recon is helping what I call engineering level discussions at cloud speed. That's where Cloud Recon really is an enormously valuable tool, because it's going to help whoever's helping that customer develop a strategy build a very detailed cost estimate, build high confidence. They know it's their data that they're looking at. They can see the VM names. They can see the number of databases that they're familiar with. And then Cloud Recon is helping them go through that. This is the first scenario where two solutions, Cloud Recon, Cloud Pilot. and we think can be used, and we think typically those kind of engagements can run 6 to 9 weeks. Second is the lift and shift scenario, which is designed for a rapid deployment, generally of VMs, but sometimes it includes some containerization. A Cloud Pilot, as you'll see as we get into it, does a really nice job of analyzing an application and coming back very quickly, as I said, with a set of recommendations that will help them make some decisions on things like code changes and configuration changes. It's designed to build confidence in the mind of the customer and thereby reducing friction for migration. And these kinds of engagements using Cloud Pilot can run anywhere from 2 to 6 months. One of the comments we've gotten from our customers is we're going too fast. Their ability to assimilate some of these changes actually slows down the process, but certainly Cloud Pilot as a technology tied into Cloud Supervisor, as you'll see, is designed to move at cloud speed. In the optimized scenario, what it's going to do is as soon as resources start being consumed, whether those are VMs of storage, compute, or network capabilities, in Azure, it is starting to run a cost monitorization and optimization analysis so that very quickly customers can feel that they are in a well-controlled, highly secure environment from a compliance management standpoint, got out of whack in terms of price. We think that with Cloud Supervisor that can lead to further optimization, this is a terrific opportunity for those of our partners who are in managed service or are thinking about getting into a managed service offering to build that around Cloud Supervisor in particular. And the reduced cost scenario, this is where we start looking at controlling baselines, controlling cost budgets and so forth, and using Cloud Origin, which is a fourth tool, which is really our knowledge base, where we store all of our compliance and security baselines and provide the monitoring capability. That is where people are able to really take control either directly or as part of a managed service that you may offer. Those are the four scenarios. This is a good summary slide of what we bring you to market and to our partners.